Deep breath. Deep breath. We can finally breathe again. The Rangers offense appeared to show signs of life yesterday. We talk about the offense that was great and the pitching performance that was perhaps even better. That's next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. Two home runs by that guy yesterday makes you feel better about the offense. Corey Seager went oppo, and one he just pulled right down the line, and that was a beautiful thing to see in a Rangers offense that did come to life yesterday. Back? I don't know. Hard to say. Just like we didn't think they were completely gone when they were bad, we're not sure they're completely back yet, but progress. We'll take it. Baby steps. Hi there. Welcome into the All Sports Studios of DLLS. Welcome to the DLLS Rangers podcast. John Radigan, Jeff Wilson. You know I love the prophet Elijah Smith over here, but sometimes the machine takes a little longer, and so I was going to do that exhale to start the show. So I held my breath when he said, "We're going live." And then he said, "Stand by." And stand by. Stand by. I'm holding my breath. I'm turning blue. Anyway, we're here, and we're glad. And we're glad you're here, too. Harrison, I see you're already there, excited to talk with us today. So please do join us in the chat, like us, subscribe to us, and hang out with us every day, although not the next 2 days. We get a couple of days off here. Yeah. But they make us take days off, right? I mean, right. I'm not sure we would. We love doing this.
Yeah, I'm a beat writer, and beat writers don't take days off.
Yeah.
You're always checking your phone or reading a story or have something to write or a podcast to do. So
yeah,
I'm used to working 183 straight.
That's how it works. So anyway, it's great to be here, and it was really, really nice to see the Rangers do what they did offensively yesterday, Jeff, against a really tough left-handed pitcher against whom they haven't had a great amount of success, like none this year, although it's only the third time they've seen one. That said, a left-handed pitcher who throws high fastballs. That was like a double whammy nemesis for the team all of last year, right?
Right.
And they overcame it big time. They were aggressive on the fastball. They got to Imanaga. They made him try to do things differently. They made him try to adjust, and even the adjustments didn't work.
Yeah, they came out pretty quickly and hit some balls hard. Simeon led off with a rocket, then Seager followed with a home run. And I know he went through the lineup a couple times and only allowing one hit, but the Rangers just kept making adjustments and started making him throw some mistakes. They worked the counts and took advantage of opportunities. And you saw the Heim home run. Josh Young crushed that ball to center. It didn't go out, but it was hit really, really hard. And so got him out of the game. And Mr. April.
Yeah.
We talked about his numbers yesterday. Got roughed up really for the first time in the first month of the season
in his professional career. Yeah.
Not a huge sample size, and
still
in Major League Baseball. But the point is, the Rangers beat a tough lefty, and that's when you're searching for silver linings to an offense that's struggling. That's kind of like a gold lining. I mean, it was a really good performance by the offense.
It really was, and that's the point. It was not only a nice offensive performance, but it answered so many questions that were addressed in the offseason. Now, were the people answering them necessarily the people who were hired to answer them? No, not necessarily yesterday. I'll tell you what is amazing, and Harrison brought it up in the chat. Josh Young in the lineup, and I should have, you may have the numbers in front of you, Jeff, but the numbers, the team's success, just win-loss success with Josh Young in or out of the lineup, is stark. It's amazing. And he was back yesterday, and well, they hauled off and won and got a lot of offense, including out of him.
Yeah, I heard the broadcast crew was talking about it yesterday, and Mike Bassick was like, I don't really have an answer. It sounds like you're putting Babe Ruth back in the lineup.
Yeah.
And he's right. He's right.
Yeah.
But Josh Young, you talk about guys who bring energy, and we always talk about Adolis Garcia. Josh Young brings it all the time, and it's not just on the field; it's behind the scenes, like the work he does in the cage. And I remember Tim Hires last season. Josh Young had come back or was fighting to come back. I can't remember at what point in the season it was. Just pointed at that guy and he goes, I just love him, because he gets after it every day. So maybe that's some energy right there, and maybe that's just what you need. He's young, he's hungry, he's tired of being hurt, and he's been very, very good this season. I mean, he was great.
Yeah. For the 2 or 3 games.
He's played 4 games or whatever it is. But I believe he's had multiple hits in those games. There's just something about him that he went first to third yesterday, or maybe it was the night before, in a situation where you really think he wouldn't go. That guy wouldn't do that, and it turned out to be a pretty big play. You just put pressure on the defense and do things like that. So maybe that's kind of what it is. And he is a good player. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
he's a good player.
Yeah, and he'll play some third base on you, which is great. And again, as the weather warms up, which it won't for the Rangers this weekend, by the way, as we've been saying. We'll talk more about Seattle later in the show. But as the weather heats up too, this good Texas San Antonio kid will get even hotter and hotter and get going extremely well. So, but he brings an energy and a life to the whole team. And again, it's all intentional. Let's not forget what he did on opening day when he gave everybody gifts. And the idea was we all want to be giving for each other, to each other, right? We're givers, not takers. And boy, he gave the lineup and the batting order the boost it needed from that 3 spot in the batting order yesterday. That, of course, in the absence of Wyatt Langford, who I'm sure you've heard they had to use the IL on him. And it's a side. He says, are they calling it an oblique strain, Jeff?
Oblique strain.
Oblique strain.
Yeah.
But he doesn't think it's bad. He maintains it's not that bad. It's not going to, they have to use the injured list, but it's not going to be a long-term lingering thing. So we'll believe him and hope he's right. Yeah.
Well, it turns out that he felt it one morning last week, and it kind of went away. If that's the case, then maybe they did need this IL move, and just all right. Maybe if the first day wasn't Tuesday, So anyway, get it knocked out. Have the rest of the season in front of him. He got hurt early last year, and then came back a better player. He's been a really good player. The batting average is a little low, I guess, but he's been slugging the ball and running the bases like he normally does, and playing pretty good defense too.
Yeah, it's been really nice to see that. It was really nice to see Seager, as we said off the top, hit the 2 bombs, and I saw some quotes from him after the game where they're like, "So, was that a relief?" No. Corey, first of all, Corey's a man of few words. Secondly, he wasn't, and I think we said it during the streak, and I think this is basically true of Marcus Semien too. I don't think they stress about things like this, like offensive malaise, like slow starts, like slumps. I don't think they stress about them as much as we do as fans, and maybe not as much as other players do, because they approach it the same way every day. And that was the follow-up to Seager's no. I just kept working on doing the things I was doing, and he gave some technical explanation of how he was just missing, and then yesterday he wasn't just missing.
Yeah, I thought it started Tuesday. Tuesday he hit the ball hard a few times, and it started to look like he was getting more on time and had found something.
Yeah,
and then the 2 home runs obviously looked pretty sharp. So if he's on his way, that's going to help tremendously.
Oh my gosh,
you know, and it doesn't always have to be a home run or a double. Though it seems like he gets more of those than he does singles.
Yeah.
Although the shift again has helped him tremendously the last few seasons, but it's kind of a you feel good about Corey Seager right now, not just because of the 2 home runs, but the day before, and you know, it just seems like it's coming. And he and there was an out that he made the other day where I thought the ball was going to be, I think it was his first at bat Tuesday, where he hit it to the warning track. I thought, okay, this is the one.
Yeah,
this is it.
Yeah, and when he gets locked in, like it's not just a streak, seemingly. He gets locked in for months at a time, Jeff. Right. He just goes on. I mean, I remember when he came back, I think it was in 23, after the fairly long injury, when he was out.
Yeah, the hamstring.
And he just came back and immediately started raking and pretty much raked the rest of the year.
Yeah, and and you know, he was hurt. Geez, it was like this second week of the season. It was against the Royals.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I think it was a double, and he came up a little bit. He'd only homered maybe once at that point, and then he came off the injured list and just was smoking the ball. And and of course he ended up with 33, I think, homers.
Yep.
Just missed out on the batting title because Yandy Diaz didn't play the last day of the season, and so it's just so impressive. And what he did that whole time, and he had a deal later in the year too. I can't remember if it was like a hit by pitch.
That's right. Yeah.
And just came back
smoking,
crushing the ball.
Yeah, and you expect. I mean, major league players, managers, Bruce Bochy, they expect a guy to have a few days to get their timing back. I remember Jonah had that injury with the thumb. I think it was late in that year in 23.
Wrist.
Yeah. And he came back, and it did take him a little time, but he found it, obviously, throughout the World Series. But it's just natural. It's normal for players to need a little time to get their timing back. But Corey Seager's not necessarily one of those guys, and it's a joy to watch him when he's in a moment and in a realm like that. And speaking of Jonah Heim, I am so happy for that guy.
Yeah.
Because, again, now we're still only looking at a 13-day sample size, and we know Adolis Garcia had a great month in the first month of the season, so things could go south. But it just seems like, you know what I was most impressed with yesterday was Jonah's, I think it was his final hit, the little single. He just went with the pitch and Oppo flared it out to left field, right? It probably only had a 67-mile-an-hour exit velocity, but as they say, he hit it where they ain't,
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny how Bassick said Rod Carew. It did kind of look like he was leaning out and slapping it into the other way.
Yeah. And not enough guys do that anymore. They're always trying to hit a home run.
Yeah. Well, and then Jonah, I think he went first to third also.
Yes. And he had a steal. He had another steal yesterday.
So, all right. Is it already paying off, or is it the benefits of him catching it, no more than 2 games in a row already paying off for him? It's still probably a little bit early, to say that definitively, but the early indications are that yes, it is. And of course, having the extra month helped, but it's going to affect him in many ways positively. On the mental side, knowing that if he feels like crap one day, he probably doesn't have to catch.
Right.
But it's also interesting, it looks like, and I'm not sure if Langford's healthy yesterday, if this is the case, but it was Monday. Bruce Bochy's not afraid to use both catchers
not at all.
the same time.
I've noticed the same thing.
The lineup. So I thought that would be the opening day lineup, actually, that they would both be in there. But in any event, if he can get at bats without having to catch, same thing with Higashioka. Could be very beneficial for the club.
Exactly, and the point there is, obviously the catching day, the day that you do catch, is the day that drains you and takes everything out of you. Because the point is, Boch doesn't like to take a hot bat out of the lineup.
Right.
So when Jonah's going well, but that's okay. He doesn't have to catch more than 2 days in a row, but he can hit 3 or 4 or more days in a row if Higashioka's in there playing that catching position.
Yeah, Bochy's pretty funny and stuff like that. It's like, like, oh yeah, you'll be like, yeah, you hit 2 home runs, you're in the lineup the next day.
Yeah,
you hit a grand slam, you're in the lineup the next day.
What am I going to do? Why would I take you out?
But he believes in it. The Rangers scored last Friday they scored 5 runs or whatever, went pretty well.
Yeah.
Next day, same exact lineup.
Yep.
So he wasn't messing around with success.
No, you gotta dance with the girl would brung you to the dance, as they say. So anyway, we've got lots more to talk about on this show as we get to the pitching performance from last night and what we can expect from these pitchers and this rotation going forward, at least in the short term. It's coming next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
I opened up the Sleeper app this morning.
Oh,
John,
yeah. We were chatting.
Much to my surprise and very pleasant surprise, they had the Masters on there. So I quickly went in there and made some Masters picks. If you don't know Sleeper, if you haven't been watching the show and know how much I love it, they're known for fantasy football, fantasy sports, but they're getting into the daily picks. And I play it pretty much every day. I've already made three picks for today: golf, baseball, and a basketball. And you can do it for as little as $1. You can do it for, I don't know what the max is because I haven't gone more than I've done a $20 one once, but that's a little rich for my blood. But anyway, download this Sleeper app, and if you do and you use the code DLLS Rangers, they will give you up to $100 match on your first deposit. It works. It's fun. It makes sports more enjoyable.
So I was a little worried about Nicole. I thought maybe she was ill. I hadn't heard from her in a minute, but Nicole at Game Time is doing well. I heard from her yesterday. And when you go to the Game Time app right now, the top thing right on there is the American Rodeo, which I think we're actually going to advertise later. Yeah, we are. But the American Rodeo is one of the tickets, the many tickets you can buy on here. Then, of course, Jets and Stars. You can get a ticket to that game for as low as $39, which is it's going to be a really great game of war. And, of course, then Dodgers-Rangers series comes up right away. These are all the things you can buy on the Game Time app. Not to mention, did you know AC/DC was coming to town?
I saw that they're coming back,
Yeah, AC/DC's coming to town.
Didn't they lose they're not at full strength.
I don't think they are, but Angus is still there.
Yeah, but they had that guy die a few years ago.
So anyway, but they can usually find a guy that can fill in for them. Anyway, great app. Game Time. $20 off your first purchase. Use the code DLLS at Game Time. Okay, so Tyler Mahle. Although the guys were both radio and TV saying Mahle. We got to ask him.
I was told it's Mahle.
You were told it's Mahle. By him? I'm just out of curiosity.
It's kind of weird. You ask these players stuff like, hey.
I know, and they're like, I don't know.
I don't care.
Yeah, I know.
You want to go by Tom or Tommy? I don't care. No, and I tell them, it's your name.
Yeah.
How do you want to be seen in print?
Yeah.
And talked about on radio, TV,
Nathaniel
and
Lowe or Nate. Yeah, that type of thing.
And he didn't care. He did that for his mama.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, anyway,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Martin Perez or Perez. I don't know. Yeah. I asked him. I said, all right, which is it, dude? Because for 10 years I've been calling you Perez. Is it Perez? I don't care. So anyway, Tyler. We'll just call him Tyler for now.
I'm going to look up the pronunciation.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. He had a really by far I'd say his best performance as a Ranger. He got 7 innings of work in. Take a look at the numbers that Tyler Mahle put up yesterday, or Mahle. There it is. 7 innings. He allowed only 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. What's it say?
Okay, so now the media guy says Mahle rhymes with rally.
Okay, so now we know. That's
good.
Thank you. And rhymes are good because sometimes they put the phonetic things in there and the umlaut over the A and the H, and you're like, does that mean Mahle or Mahle?
It's like Kamar Rocker.
Right.
Kamar rhymes with Lamar.
Lamar, yeah. I like the rhymes with. So rhymes with rally, Tyler Mahle, thrilled for him, thrilled to see what he did yesterday.
It just doesn't look like Mahle.
What's that?
It just doesn't look like Mahle. So.
No, it really doesn't.
But my daughter's name's Mahle, so I was like, all right, Tyler
rhymes with Mahle. Yeah, but no, it rhymes with rally.
Mahle. We're back, baby. We're back.
Don't call your daughter Mahle.
That's right.
Okay.
I don't know what we're talking about here.
He
did pretty good.
He's
though.
good though. Yeah.
And really the one run you could argue shouldn't have scored. Leote couldn't quite cut that ball off, so it turned into a triple for Suzuki, and then the next batter was Bush, and Mahle got ahead.
Yeah.
And ended up going to a full count. Well, at that point, geez, you don't want to walk the guy, so. He was trying for a strikeout, I guess, is my point, with the runner at third.
Yeah.
And so he ended up leaving a pitch over the middle. They got hit down the line. But maybe if the runner's at second, it's a different thing.
Sure.
Whatever. It was really, really good. He made some good plays off the mound defensively.
Yep.
And he got better. And you'll hear this often when you talk about guys in pitching. They get better as the game goes along. He wasn't necessarily throwing harder, but he was dotting corners. As they like to say, hitting gnats in the ass.
Yeah.
And it was really good. And I tell you what, gosh, it makes you feel good about him going forward, because
it does.
You had the bad one, then you had the 1-5 scoreless against the Rays. It's like, okay, but the first inning was kind of shaky. This is like, man, this is really good.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because I was sitting there watching early in the game, and he was living in the 80s miles per hour. And then topping out at 90. And Bassick said, look at this. And he did a nice job. Mike's always really good on analyzing the pitcher. He said, but look at the hitter's reaction to this pitch.
Yeah.
He goes, that hitter thinks it's coming in at 97 because of the way, just his release and everything that he does. He makes it seem like it's a harder pitch than it is. And it definitely, the results showed that yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, he's 6'3". And if you watch his delivery, he really gets down the mound. That leg kick, once he starts moving downhill, he really gets down the mound. And so you figure it's good extension, and then the ball's on top of you a little bit sooner than you're expecting. But yeah, some of those takes that Mike was pointing out, it was like, that guy wasn't ready for that fastball at 90.
Yeah, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
And maybe they're guessing. Sometimes hitters will guess and try to remember how he got pitched last time. Well, a good pitcher is going to change that up and pitch differently each time through the order. So just great stuff. Very, very encouraged by it. And then they ended up pitching Garcia and Jackson because they hadn't pitched in a while.
Right.
So that's another thing that you got to keep in mind with the bullpen. Guys need to pitch.
Sure.
So sometimes you're like, why the heck is this guy in the game? Well, he hasn't pitched in a week. So
yeah, and they actually
need to get him in there.
They got Chris Martin up, and he warmed in the bullpen, and then he never came into the game. And everybody thought during the seventh inning, so Chris Martin's coming in. He might have just, although he pitched the day before, so I don't guess he was getting work. Maybe there was something that they saw,
a situation,
maybe situational, but as soon as it didn't happen.
Yeah.
They sat him back down and brought Garcia into the game, which was a better choice. And like you say, your high leverage guys especially, you don't worry as much about the Mark Churches of the world, or the Bosley. Good God, you don't worry about them quite as much.
Right.
But your high leverage guys, you got to get them that somewhat steady work.
For sure. If a closer doesn't pitch for 3 days, he's going to pitch the fourth day.
Yeah.
Even if it's 10-1, he's probably pitching. You really, really just got to keep those guys sharp. And so I'm sure Jackson didn't mind the work. They're off today. No big deal. He'll be ready to go for the series coming up. Seattle
series.
Yeah. So, funny Luke Jackson story about Seattle. So this was 15, I guess. And he had gotten called up for what everybody thought, it was kind of an emergency situation. They needed an arm, but still gets called up. And the Sunday, it was a Saturday day game in Seattle, and it was a good game. It was tight, and the Rangers almost gave it away. The bases loaded, and there's a runner at third with one out. And so they walked the next two guys. Sean Tollison was pitching, the closer, and got out of it. They got out of it, all right, miraculously. So the game goes to the 11th. The Rangers scored like 8 runs or 5 runs. They just it was a huge number, especially for extra innings. And they were like, all right, this is a perfect spot for Luke Jackson, whose family has flown from Miami to go in there and make his debut.
Sure.
Who comes out? Sean Tollison. All right. So he ends up getting, obviously, the 3 outs. Rangers win. Okay, that's great. But this guy had pitched so much, and TR and I were like, God dang it, why did you send him back out there? Why? And Jeff Bannister, of course, stuck his chest out and let us know who the boss was, and was like, well, we don't want them getting any momentum for the finale. We don't want their bats to wake up. It's like, all right, that's a bunch of crap, Jeff. But and so then the next day, we're all sitting around there, me and Evan and TR, and Jeff Bannister goes, anybody want to talk again about why we didn't use Luke Jackson? And TR and I both went, nope. But then Evan goes, okay, I'll bite.
Yeah.
God dang it, 20-minute lecture followed, and then it's like, oh, no wonder Jeff ran out of popularity. So anyway, that's my Luke Jackson story.
What was he? I mean, don't give me the 20 minutes, but what was the point? Was there another point the next day?
No, it was the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
You don't want to give them momentum,
right,
for the finale. I promise you, if you'd have asked Banny that same day, hey, you guys scored all those late runs. Does that give you momentum for tomorrow? Oh, that doesn't carry over to tomorrow. You know, like,
we got to show up again tomorrow. New pitcher. Yeah, it's like, all right, come on, buddy.
That's just crazy.
Anyway, that's my Luke Jackson story.
Yeah, that's fun.
I've got a few Luke Jackson stories.
That's fun and sad though, because I wonder, were his parents and family able to see?
He never pitched.
So they flew to, well, Chris, I think if I remember correctly, I think it was on that trip. It was summer, so you never fly to Seattle. You never waste a trip to Seattle in the summer.
Yeah,
it's beautiful up there.
But it gets more expensive. No,
it does, and
it's crowded. Not like Luke's family was hurting. They're okay.
Okay.
But still, it's not a cheap expenditure.
No. Yeah, absolutely. So
Anyway, right now the pitching rotation is looking good. I mean, we'll have question marks and questions about Patrick Corbin. We guess that he's got one more trip through the rotation, Jeff, or would it be one more before Jack is eligible to get back off the injury
again,
list?
with the off day today and the off day Monday, the Rangers do have an opportunity to kind of
massage it a little bit.
Although that's not Mike Maddox's way.
Right.
Yeah.
That is not. They like to honor the off days. And, if Jacob deGrom still watching his innings, even Rocker probably too, you give him the extra day, I would imagine you would. But there is the opportunity there if they want to take it. It's out there. It's out there for him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll but other than that, you feel good about deGrom, obviously. You feel pretty good about at least where Rocker was last outing, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was a breakthrough, Jeff. I don't know for sure, but he looked like a different guy than his first start this season.
He did. It's interesting. The Rays are pretty good about putting the ball in play.
Yeah.
He only had the one strikeout, but he didn't walk anybody, so you feel good about his command, and that he made a right adjustment and maybe something clicks. But it's a feel thing, I think, with him. That slider's got to be there, or a curveball, whatever he calls it.
He calls it a curveball, but it's a slider.
Yeah, I mean, so anyway, but yeah, you have a lot of reason to feel good about him. And of course, Evaldi, the other day, I really think it was just the weather that got to him.
Yeah.
That he'll be fine. He'll be fine going forward anyway. But that wasn't
not a
typical,
red flag. Yeah,
not a red flag.
Oh my God, look out!
Typical Evaldi outing.
No.
And then like we talked about our guy Mahle, rhymes with rally. You got to feel pretty good about it. Even Corbin was okay.
Yeah, he was. It really was.
And
he wasn't.
You assume it gets better the more he pitches.
Yeah, he wasn't the problem, and that was the first time he'd faced major league hitters. He didn't have him in spring training. I mean, he didn't have.
He had no spring training.
No spring training. He didn't. He went down to Arizona. I mean, and again, he was throwing, BPs and things like that in Florida, getting, staying in shape.
But who was he facing?
Right,
college guys.
Yeah,
buddies down the
high school
street.
guys, beer drinkers.
Buddies.
Yeah, us. I don't know. So anyway, great to see the way the pitching rotation is going. It's picking things up. 9-4 are your Texas Rangers, and back in first. They left first place for a day as the Angels. Ron Washington's Angels took over the first place position yesterday, but now the Rangers are back. So more coming up as we talk about this Seattle series, and I want to get to some of the questions that we see in the chat there. We always appreciate those. We'll get to those. We'll talk about the upcoming series in Seattle next as we continue with the DLLS Rangers podcast.
Yeah, if you guys were listening closely Tuesday and heard my joints popping,
yes,
you probably are like, "Hey, Jeff, get you some Timeline." It's like, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Timeline sells health and longevity supplements featuring their proprietary MitoPure ingredients. MitoPure works with the cells in your body to help reverse age-related decline. Thank you. Benefits include increased strength, energy, and endurance. They've done 15 years of research on this stuff and secured 30 U.S. patents for their products. So this is pretty good stuff. And then, the cells in our bodies, they're the building blocks of life, and Timeline. It's a supplement that works with those to give you the more energy and all that stuff we just talked about. The patented agreement is MitoPure postbiotic nutrient that clears out the dysfunctional mitochondria. Always a big one for us.
Yeah.
Your cell's battery packs. So right now, Timeline is giving you 10% off your order. So go to timeline.com/DLLS today to get started. That's timeline.com/DLLS.
And it'll be our second reference to the American Rodeo, which is coming here tomorrow. Tomorrow, man, the dreams are happening at the Globe Life Field as the Rangers' home becomes the home of the world champion rodeo men and women. And all the world champs are there at the American Rodeo. But, you come for the rodeo, you stay for the party. They've got all kinds of great country music acts happening after the rodeo. If you've never seen Globe Life Field configured for a rodeo, you really need to do it. It's amazing that they can do it with all the sand and everything that they need to put in there on where the field would be. It's really cool looking. So hit the American Rodeo. These are great athletes, some of whom have a chance to win $1 million in one day. And that's at the American Rodeo this weekend. AmericanRodeo.com to get your tickets today. So the Rangers are headed to Seattle, and that is, this is not necessarily the best time of year to go to Seattle, but that's what the schedule says they must do. It will feel downright balmy when they take the field and, temperatures in the low 50s or high 40s. It'll probably, though, dip into the lower 40s by the end of those night games, Jeff. And, like we said, it's as cold as anywhere. When that mist comes in, they have a roof on the stadium, but no walls.
Right.
So if that wind's blowing, man, that mist will still come in there, and it's almost like you'll have fog in the stadium.
Yeah, I love the ballpark.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's very, very nice and well kept, and the Mariners do a great job with their pregame stuff and their in-game stuff. But God, I do not like going there really any time of the year, just because it's so cold.
I love the summers there.
I remember another story from the past about Seattle. It was like 85 one day in September.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is great. I walked to the ballpark and I flipped on the news the next day, like, two elderly people are dead after soaring temperatures into the 80s. I was like, what the hell's going on here? This is fantastic.
Yeah.
So anyway, they can't handle 85 up there. I can't handle 42.
No,
I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'll wear multiple layers. I'll wear 5 layers. I have a Seattle actual portion of my backpack with a stocking cap and gloves.
Do you? Yeah. Just for that place. Yeah. It's and when it's rainy, or misty or all that, it really is. It can really get cold in that place. So, but no excuses. I mean, obviously the Mariners have to play in it too, and all that stuff. Same stuff we said when it was a wind chill of 23 on Tuesday night or whatever it was in Chicago. So anyway, this is a series. It's the first one of the year against a Mariners team, Jeff, that, they're off to a 3-8 start.
Yeah.
We thought they'd be, and they still probably will be, a team that contends in this division. But right now, they don't have the look of that in spite of great pitching. Their infield is a mess right now because of injuries. And then they lost Robles after that unbelievable catch that he made. And I see he's out for 12 weeks. He's got a shoulder a shoulder injury. I don't know if it was a separation, but it's a shoulder injury that won't require surgery. But it takes 6 weeks to heal on its own and 6 weeks to rebuild back up. Yeah. So
that's a tough break.
That's a tough one. So anyway, they're battling through some serious stuff. They've got second base right now is going to be occupied by, two different guys who neither of whom can hit. It's their utility guys who can't hit.
Well, and that's the problem with the Mariners is they just can't hit, and then they can do anything, but they won't hit, and maybe it is the ballpark. I mean, they moved in the fences 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and it hasn't made a difference.
Didn't help. No.
And they have a great player in Julio Rodriguez.
They do.
Doesn't make a difference. The catcher Raleigh is great.
Yep.
Okay. It's all about pitching with them, but they do seem to dig themselves into these giant holes early in the season, and then have to pitch their way out of it. They're going to be low-scoring games, though. I mean, their rotation's so good, and if they have a lead, you're in trouble. You really are. But Bryce Miller, who's great, he's off to a little bit of a slow start. He's pitching the opener. Then Brian Wu, who's good young guy who throws hard, and then Logan Gilbert, of course, who's threw 200 innings last year. He's a Cy Young guy candidate going forward. So he always pitches his tail off against the Rangers.
Yeah,
and especially in that ballpark.
Yeah, and that one is the one we mentioned earlier in the week. MLB noted it as one of the 5 best pitching matchups of the week. That's Nathan Eovaldi against Logan Gilbert. But Wu will face Rocker, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it'll be DeGrom. Is it because it's DeGrom tomorrow night?
Yeah. So I mean, 3 pretty good starters for the Rangers. 3 pretty good ones for the Mariners. You're going into the division for the first time. These division games mean a little more because you don't face the teams as much, which is probably a good change. You didn't need to face these guys 19 times.
Right.
Year.
Oh, that was too much.
Yeah. You don't need to take 3 trips to each division city. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the series. Yeah, I don't necessarily love the late start times. It's pretty funny. When I was traveling regularly, I never understood the
what's the problem?
Yeah, the problem
starts
with
at 7 o'clock
the
out
late
here.
Times. Hey, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just another night for us. And now that I've been traveling less, it's like, God dang it, I do not want to stay up and watch.
Yeah,
this
I learned early when I started traveling and we had a group of us that traveled, but I learned early take the West Coast games.
100%.
I took all the way. I was
never missed.
And there were places, there were times like the audio man that I would work with in Oakland, Bruce. He's like, "You're here almost every series." I go, "Damn right, by choice."
Yeah.
I mean, and again, nobody wanted to go to Oakland. I mean, it was a crappy ballpark, and the city is kind of fading. We stay in San Francisco, but there's a lot of people who feel like it's just dying on the vine and all that. Yeah. But I went almost every time because I'm like, I'm not doing that late night game thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. West Coast, sign me up for it.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, as I think if you're a Rangers fan, you just kind of feel like things are trending upward right now.
They are,
and maybe it's it's 2 straight games of good offense. Really, they've played 13 games, and I think you would take 10 of the 13 starts every time.
Sure.
Even take Eovaldi the other day. So I'll go 11 of 13.
Yeah.
Take those starts. And again, they're still they're 9-4. They're edging ahead of the little Ron Washingtons out there in Anaheim. I don't know that one's going to last.
No.
I think it's kind of
fun to see. Yeah.
It's fun to see and feel great for Wash, of course, but it's a delicate situation there. They don't have a ton of depth. They're not a great offense to begin with. It's just but good for them.
Yeah.
And Wash's teams, if you recall, with the Rangers, 07 was not good. 08 was better. They almost finished 500. 09, they would have won a wild card spot if there had been the wild card at that time. And then 10 and 11, of course, were fantastic. And 12, disappointing end, but what a great team.
Yeah. Great season.
Let's keep going. 13,
Yeah.
Had a play-in game for the playoffs. 14 injuries destroyed everything, and that was Wash's last year.
Yeah.
But they're trending the right way, those Angels.
They are, and it'll be a fun division, and this is the first of all those games that the Rangers will face, against their division foes. So really cool. We'll keep a close eye on it, and we'll talk all about it Sunday at some point. We'll be here for a post-game show of the finale Sunday.
That's right.
We're not sure about pregame yet.
We're not doing a pregame.
We're not doing it.
We got the word.
Got the word. Good.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
No pregame, so that's fine. It's fine with us.
Yeah.
It's a short shelf life on the pregame. We'll have some other content out there, we promise, for you that you'll enjoy. Meantime, let's get to some of these questions.
Yeah, questions.
Bless you, Prophet.
All right.
I saw Justin had one earlier.
Justin had a good one about one of my favorite guys. Justin
Grounds. That's right. Krim, yeah.
No, it's Robbie Alstrom.
Oh, I think Blaine's on there too, though, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Could
Krim.
Robbie Alstrom jump from Double-A to the majors? Feel like him and somehow Krim could make this team even more dangerous. The only bigger Robbie Alstrom fan than me is Mike Maddox.
And Mrs. Alstrom.
I don't
Is
know
he married?
He's married
Okay.
yet. But anyway, he pitched. He got a save last night for Frisco. 15 pitches, 10 strikes, wiped out Northwest Arkansas. The guy, the thing they love about him the most is how tough he is, how much he likes to compete. There was the game in Oakland that he pitched not in Oakland, but at Mesa in spring training. He hit a guy, and some guys will be like, "Oh, geez," and kind of maybe make eye contact with the hitter, and nod like, "I didn't mean to do that." Apparently, Robbie just walked to the umpire and asked for the ball. Just went and got right back on the mound and was ready to go again. Didn't let anything bother him. So
yeah, that's mental toughness right there.
Robbie
That
Alstrom
really is.
is. They call it FU. That's they go all the way when they say it. But this is family programming. But they said he's got some FU in him. So hey, that's a good thing. And Krim. I am the number one Krim fan, maybe Mrs. Krim. His dad's a real good guy. I've met him too. But where do you play him? That's just it. Where are you going to play him? I've always been a proponent of giving him a chance because he hits everywhere he goes. Every level, this guy hits. Now he's been at AAA. This is his third year there, so he needs to. He's a major league hitter. It just may not be with the Rangers, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, that one above there, Dustin asks, concerns with the middle of the order now. Peterson has been struggling, and Langford will be out for a bit. Peterson's not going to struggle forever, right? I mean,
you would think he won't.
I don't think he will.
I kind of, as I circle back in Rangers history, kind of land on, son of a gun, his name just escaped my mind. Came from the Nationals, was a shortstop, moved to center field, was an all-star in 2016. Ian Desmond. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ian Desmond was hitting .046 at one point in April, got 2 days off, and then came back, and at the All-Star break was batting .320. Maybe that's what Jock needs. Jock's not going to be a full-time player, so on those days when a lefty starts, which won't be this series, he needs to take advantage of those and figure something out. He is taking walks, so that's good. He knows the strike zone.
Yep.
It doesn't look like his at bats. He's chasing pitches. He's just kind of beating them in the ground to the second baseman, which apparently is not uncommon for him. So short-term concerns maybe because Langford is out, but you saw yesterday Young moved to third in the batting order. Seems like a good spot for him. And you go right, left in your first four. So I don't think I don't know that I'd be that worried because Adola seems to be hitting the ball.
Yeah.
Even though he hasn't had a ton of luck. And then watch out for the catchers. Watch out for Heim and Higashioka. Maybe they can move up.
And look, Berger's going to hit better too, right? I mean, he's woefully underachieving, or we shouldn't even say that. He's off to a slow start.
It seems like he's made a change to his stance to maybe offset something. It seems like he's not as wide as he was in spring training, and is a little more upright. Maybe that's just my eyes tricking me, and I would like to ask him about it, but I'm here and they're there. But something to keep an eye on. But he's hit some balls hard too, and just hasn't had a lot to show for it.
Speaking of upright, there was a video of Ted Williams in his prime on one of the socials today. He stood almost straight up, and it looked like he didn't even use his body. Like, I mean, he just swings, and it was a perfect swing.
Yeah.
And the ball flew.
Yeah.
It was amazing watching that. I mean, I remember seeing old videos of him, but, man, that was crazy. All right, so we got more coming. It's our cleanup segment. We always love this. There's lots to talk about, including we will revisit Ron Washington's team. Yeah, once again, we'll talk Angels and more in the cleanup segment as we continue with the DLLS Rangers podcast. It's the summertime, so that means you're going to see us more often in just the tees, at least when we're in here, not necessarily out there. In here, a lot of T-shirts coming. I counted. I'm at 10. You're at 13 T-shirts?
I think I'm up to 15.
15 T-shirts. I get 2
and
coming.
2 sweatshirts.
I got 2 coming.
Yeah, they're constantly in the cycle of the wash. So there's
hard
never
to tell
been
how
a point where they're all clean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I got the baseball ones coming. I got the notice today. They're shipping. So
okay, good.
It's hard to find me. I'm off the grid.
Well, that's not a bad place to be sometimes.
No, that's all right.
But anyway, so you wore Texas Chew today. I wore the horseshoe. I do, John. I'll admit I make a lot of my daily decisions based on what you've worn in a week, and I knew that you wore this one the other day, so I felt good about it. Yeah. But anyway, these shirts are great. They're comfortable. They're not that much. You get them at store.allcitynetwork.com. I think there are now 8 Ranger shirts to choose from. There's still one I don't own, the Fight and Claw one. I don't have that one.
I don't have that either.
And I'm telling you, once I get these hats, I'm gonna go shopping
crazy
again.
Yeah. Well, and that could be a fun game for all of our people in the chat and all of our people who are with us regularly to play. If Jeff and I ever do wear the same shirt, like, because we're not calling each other, we're not texting, we're not emailing. We just guess and hope and cross our fingers. Maybe bring a jacket just in case we have to cover it up.
Jacket over there.
Anyway. Become a diehard and get a shirt for free, would you please? And get 20% off all of our events that are coming up. And that's including the golf tournament, which is April 25th over at Stevens Park, one of my favorite places in Dallas to play. Jeff's playing. I'm playing. We want you to be a part of our team in the golf tournament. Get 25% off on that by becoming a diehard today, alldlls.com. All right. Let's start with Wash's player. Kyren Paris?
Yeah.
Kyren or Kyren? Do you know?
I don't know.
Kyren Paris.
I need something to rhyme with it, so I won't forget.
Right? Kyren, yeah. Well, anyway, he has 5 homers and 4 stolen bases through 10 games. They've played 2 less games than the Rangers, but through 10 games, he's got 5 homers and 4 stolen bases. The first player to accomplish that in the first 10 games of a season since Larry Walker back in 1997.
Things turned out pretty well for him.
He did okay in his career. The reality is, this young man, I don't even did Wash talk much about him when we saw him in December?
No.
He was talking about some of the other young guys. This guy's a player.
Well, and they're going to get Zach Neto. Maybe it's Neto. I need another rhyme with that.
Yeah.
They're getting him back. He's in Salt Lake City at AAA on his rehab assignment. He's like hitting home runs every night.
Yeah.
Now it'll be different, of course, when he's not at altitude and when he's facing better pitching. But the Rangers, the Angels have an opportunity to have a short-term upgrade there and keep this short-term momentum rolling. But they're coming to town next week when both LA teams come, and of course. Always love seeing Wash.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing in the world. Text message or quick conversation with Wash, just it's the highlight of your day. And he's got these guys going.
Yeah, he does
over there. And young guys you can still coach. They're easier to coach. They're happy for their opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity in Anaheim, and they're gonna struggle. They are. All young players will go through it, and but they got a good one on their side to help make those tough times a little shorter.
Yeah, no doubt. And Wash is one of those guys that instills a sense of belief, right?
He is all about that, and he does it so well. And clearly, I think really he felt like it finally took hold late in the season last year, right? They began to buy into his message. There is buy-in that's so important with this. And, if he's doing things much differently than every other coach or manager these guys have had, they're kind of like, what the hell's this guy doing? And then all of a sudden it works. And they go, oh. And I remember it most distinctly with Bill Parcells when he got here. He went way old school on the Cowboys, and they're all like, what are we doing? And then it worked. And you're like, okay, all right, I can take it. I can take his
there's something to be said
abrasive, abusive style.
Bruce Bochy's old school.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a player's guy, a player's coach, but he's old school in a lot of things that he does. Misty, whose name is Leon. Hello, Leon. You wouldn't want me. Oh, no. He said that it's Kyren like iron.
Kyren, iron. Okay.
Kyren, Myron.
Okay. Myron,
iron.
Iron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kyren.
Iron. Okay.
Kyren, iron.
Very good. Thank you, Leon. Hey, Mark DeRosa will be the manager of Team USA again. He did that in the World Baseball Classic last time. When was that? 2 years ago?
2 years ago,
yeah.
23.
24, right? It's
no,
next
23.
year. Was it? Okay, so it's every 3 years. Whatever. It's next year's World Baseball Classic. He's going to be the manager, and good for him. I think he's a former Ranger. Were you here for him?
No, I was
not.
He's
a
I missed him.
Great guy, and obviously he does a great job on the MLB Network. He's a baseball mind. I think he's a really good choice. So, and I see they announced the bracket, kind of like they do in the World Cup. It's like the bracket becomes a big thing. I haven't looked at it yet. But.
Yeah, I haven't either. I don't know about a group of death, or I don't even know if everybody's qualified yet. But you'll have your games that take place in Japan and Korea, and you'll wake up to those results, and then the ones that are a little closer, you'll follow a little more tightly. And of course, players leave the team in spring training. You don't know if it's a good thing. They start throwing earlier, and sometimes you get these injuries, and you wonder, oh gosh, was that the World Baseball Classic that caused that ramping up too early? I kind of wonder if it affected Martin Perez in 23 because he had been throwing so early and kind of sputtered and didn't have his best year. Speaking of 23, Janet, she asked, didn't Young bat third in 23? He did some, but Nathaniel Lowe was the main guy. And then Lowe started to slump there in September.
That's right.
And then it became that might have been when you saw Young, but Evan Carter
ultimately
was the number
and that was
guy
shocking.
In the postseason.
That was shocking.
Like he was ninth, and oh my God, he was fifth. And
was
third. Yeah.
So. And again, they'd love him to be first, but he took another 0 for last night, Evan, that is, and he did have a walk and a stolen base, but he's still struggling. So at AAA.
Well, it's a good thing that he played because he'd been hitting the hand the day before.
Yeah,
so.
True. Yeah. And we'll take the benefits that we can. Hey, so the Rangers were in Cincinnati last week, and everything just seemed fine, nice and normal. And Cincinnati, you had a bowl of chili that had too much cheese on top, and away you went. Rangers took 2 out of 3 there. They didn't see this. That is Great American Ballpark, and that is, I think it's the Ohio River.
Correct.
That's right outside the Great American. It's right there. It's right on the river. It's a beautiful setting for the ballpark.
It is.
And there's a beautiful park that's walking distance from there that you can go. I went running and all that stuff in right along the river. All beautiful. There's all kinds of plaques and things about Native Americans who were using this river for all the different, things, transportation and life and living there and all this cool stuff. That's the river. It's exceeded its banks, Jeff, and it's damn near going to flood that ballpark.
Yeah, over there to the right, I think, is just a parking garage. It looks like people won't be parking there for a while.
Yeah, it's already flooded.
At least not on that level.
Yeah.
The football stadium is about
to the left.
half a mile, kind of like Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Also on a river. Well, if that's the Allegheny, though. So Kentucky, that area of the country has gotten hit really hard by rain. The Buffalo Trace factory, which is near and dear to my heart, has dealt with some flooding right there on the river. And the Ohio River, pretty big river.
It's a big river.
U.S. history. It was a key to the Union winning the Civil War when they were able to take control of the Ohio and the Mississippi. The Mississippi was probably the bigger deal, but still, they weren't the Confederates couldn't use it to get their supplies. So it was a big deal.
It was, and I mean, it's a serious river, and there's a big bridge that connects basically Ohio to Kentucky. The other side of the river is Kentucky,
right?
Which is pretty cool. It's a neat place to go. Maybe not soon, but like in the summer or something, to go to a game if you're up in that area. It's a fun place to see a game, and you hit 2 states easy. We'd have dinner in Kentucky when I do road trips.
Well, I mean,
there.
the closest Marriott is in
Kentucky,
and it's literally right across the bridge. You can walk it if you wanted.
Yeah. So weird, amazing what's happening. Some of these things, these spring, storms and so forth, happening in our country. So, a good thought for the people there. Rachel Robinson is 102 years old today.
Holy
Jeff.
moly!
Yeah,
good for her.
Jackie Robinson's wife. So I guess Jackie'd be right around there. I don't know if Jackie, I'd have to look, but if Jackie'd be 102 or 103 or whatever. But his wife is still living at 102 years old.
That's great. Yeah. And she was very active with Jackie Robinson Day and things like that, and commendable job on her part, continuing his legacy,
and her daughter does a great job now too.
Right. Yeah. So pretty neat. Neat. Anytime anybody hits 100, my aunt's mother lived to 105.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And then, of course, next Wednesday, I guess it is that the 15th, we'll celebrate Jackie Robinson Day.
Yes.
And that is the day that everybody, in Major League Baseball wears the number 42 on their back. And that's the day throughout Major League Baseball where you can't tell the players with a program, right? Because they all got 42 on their back. And there was a commemorative poster. I bumped into this guy this weekend at a wedding. There was a commemorative poster painted by Opie Otterstadt, who's a longtime Ranger. He used to have a gallery at Globe Life Field in the office building out there, and he painted a thing when they retired Jackie's number in every ballpark, and it was given away at almost every ballpark in the country. And I knew him; he was in the thing, so I had him go sign it. That Christmas, my wife got that poster. Man, she wrapped it all up, had it matted and framed, this big, beautiful frame. I open it up and I go, "Oh, thanks." She goes, "That's your reaction to having Jackie Robinson's signature?" I go, "Well, it would be, but that's Opie Otterstadt's signature." So, wasn't quite the same thing. But I told Opie that story this weekend. Matter of fact. Finally, how about Christian Yelich? 465-foot bomb yesterday that left the bat at 110 miles an hour.
I guess his back is doing much
doing
better.
Okay.
Yeah. That guy's a heck of a player. I remember when he came up with the Marlins. I've had him on my fantasy baseball team since his rookie season. I drafted him. I'm an awful fantasy baseball player.
Yeah.
A lot of it is I just lose track of time and can't make the lineup changes every day. And I'm in a league with some retirees, and they're
nothing but time.
They are all over it.
Yeah.
But Yelich has been one of my guys for a long, long time. So I like to think that I know how to scout, and that I nailed that one. But yeah, I'm just atrocious. My team has Yelich. I have Ohtani, Aaron Judge, and Bobby Witt Jr. I barely finished in the money last year.
Come on.
I know, it's embarrassing.
Do you have that same team this year? Like you keep it year to year?
Carry over guys and all that stuff.
If you don't win this year, we got something wrong. We have no pitching?
Early on, I'm in second place here.
All right.
Oh, well, I've dipped to third already today. Although, Jazz Chisholm's killing me.
Yeah.
He was pretty good, but now he's sucking it. But Aaron Judge doing good. And
Ohtani's pretty good.
Those were yesterday's.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's only a handful.
So Natalie is asking, is Langford going to be back for the A's series? What's the date?
I think
timing?
The 19th is the first day, which would be what's today?
Today's the 10th.
So he could make it back for the last game or the second game against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So next Saturday would be his first day back.
Saturday or Sunday. So
but
before A's.
We'll see how it responds, and if the Rangers want him to take a little extra time, which certainly seems to be the Rangers' modus operandi.
Yep.
So it'll be right around there.
Yeah, they're operating in almost every instance
with an abundance of caution. And that's probably wise in the long run, especially when you're off to a 9-4 start, right? Like you're
well,
I mean,
it's
even
only, if you're 4-9.
Yeah, true. Good point. Good point.
There's
it's a long season.
149 more to go, John.
Yeah, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Okay, so that's the thing. Watch for some content from us coming out this weekend. We'll be back Sunday for a post-game show after the Seattle series. But we've got content that you'll find on YouTube throughout the course of the weekend. You'll find it on some of the social media channels, too. We take the next couple of days off from the show, but we never stop, and we're going to keep putting stuff out there for you. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We appreciate you being here each and every day, spending your lunch with us. Next week, our start time, because the team is home, going to be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So a little warning there, and we will talk to you over the weekend and can't wait to talk to you again on Sunday after the Rangers and Seattle Mariners complete their 3-game series. We'll see you then on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.